Plot is arguably 2019's best horror comic book, being published by Vault Comics. On July 5th, issue number 5 hits the shelves of local comic book shops nationwide, and in today's video, I'm going to be reviewing issue number 5 and telling you why you need to be reading this comic book series. What's up, everybody? Trinity here, and welcome back to the Second Street Marvel, your source for the latest indie comic book reviews. And guys, today we are talking about The Plot, issue number 5, being published by Vault Comics. Now, if you have never heard of Vault Comics, how dare you? And if you have never heard of The Plot, I'm telling you, this is one you definitely need to go check out. Volume 1 is available on trade paperback right now. It is a collected edition of 4 individual comics. Now, this book is being written by Tim Daniel and Michael Moreci, drawn by Joshua Hixson, colored by Kurt Michael Russell, which is a different colorist than who worked on the first series, and lettered by the hard-working Jim Campbell. And I will show you those names right there. All right. Now, guys, I'm telling you, this is, I just got sent this PDF by the writer, Michael Moreci, to do this review for you guys, okay? And I'm telling you guys, I love this series. Like I said at the beginning of the video, The Plot is arguably 2019's best horror comic book series. Here in issue number 5, we start off our story in 1674, so about 300 years earlier. And what we see here is it's winter time, and we see the townspeople. They are dragging this body of this lady that had died. She had died of starvation. She had been giving all of her food, her rations, to her kids so they could eat, so they could live and survive. The ground's frozen. They can't dig a good hole to give her a proper burial. And we can see here that there is one of the people, the townspeople there, by the name of Malone Rasmussen, who has a big problem with what's going on here. We can see here that the townspeople are getting ready to burn this lady. I mean, they're gonna burn her like a witch. One of the head guys here that wants to do this, that's basically telling them they have to do this because otherwise, if they don't burn the body, if they don't bury it, since they can't bury it and they don't burn the body, the wolves are going to come for it, and that's worse than the plans that God might have for them for burning this lady's body. Later, we find out that this man that is kind of leading this mob of people who are going to burn this young lady's dead body, his name is Vitus Blaine. He is the great-great-grandfather of the Blaines that we're dealing with in Volume 1. And we can see that he gets back to his cabin here, and he's having a discussion with his wife, talking about exactly what happened. And she says, lead them, and to do that, you must allow him to lead you. She's here talking about God and things like that, and he's saying, pray, like how the good Malone Rasmussen prays. And he goes in, and you can tell that he's being spiteful and don't believe in God. His daughter Augusta ends up settling between him. His son Bram is upset. She's sitting there like, oh, calm down. You know you're gonna upset him. And he tells him he needs to see this. He needs to know why these people are thinking that his father is a bad man. Like, he needs to see the harsh truth of it all. Well, he goes to sleep that night and ends up having this nightmare, something that we've seen before in some of these other books. And guys, this is where we really get to see some of the work of Jim Campbell, as we see his lettering going on here throughout these panels, and just the way it kind of helps tell that story. Really good stuff here going on. So he ends up going out into the forest because he's hearing this voice, and he's like, oh, who is it? Once again, I got to show you this, man. This is like just good work here. Just good work by Jim Campbell right here, doing this lettering and everything in here. So he goes out there trying to figure out what this is, and he don't know what it is. So next thing you know, we flash forward, because this happened in wintertime. We flash forward to the springtime of 1675, and we see him out here dealing with his crops, tending to his crops, but he has no crops because the land has been cursed. Now this I believe this is probably due to the fact that they burned that young lady burned her body. Well, as he is sitting there inspecting his crops, he sees that that mouthy Rasmussen over there flirting with his daughter and having a good time. And it seems that Mouthy and his daughter Augusta do seem to have quite the relationship. He is courting her. We can see that they have mutual feelings about each other. They love each other. There's nothing wrong with that, right? Well, the father doesn't like it. The father doesn't like it, but you know what? The father still being haunted by those dreams, by that voice that he's hearing. Once again, I'm telling you, Jim Campbell doing a hell of a job lettering this book. He's doing a great job lettering this book. And so that he goes outside to he goes into the forest trying to chase down this voice and find out what it is. He ends up going through the forest, and he ends up tripping and falling in the forest, and he falls, and when he's getting back up, he notices this big house, this big mansion, and he's wondering, like, what? So he goes up to the doors and begins to open the door, and it comes flooding out with water, which seems to be a pretty common theme. And he goes drowning through this water, and comes upon this being that is under the water. And like I said, I don't want to give everything away here, but he does come upon this being that is kind of living under there. And then next thing you know, he ends up coming to the surface. He wakes up, and he comes back to the surface. He's alive and doing well. He's alive and doing well. He walks back to the town, and everybody's like, "Oh my God, Vitus is alive! Go fetch Leva," which is his wife. He gets home, and he had been missing for 4 days. Yeah, he'd been missing for 4 days. They thought him gone, or they thought he was dead. And he begins to explain now that he believes he has seen the light. He says, "I have heard his words, and I alone know that mercy, nay, providence, shall soon be upon us all. I know it, for I have seen it." So some crazy stuff, and then we get here into the next couple of pages, and we see him kind of telling this story about that being that he had that he had met, and the sacrifices that they now have to make. And this is where he's kind of telling us that their township, their area there, has been named after his daughter Augusta, and that's where Cape Augusta, Maine comes from in the first issue of the plot, where we learned that we're in Cape Augusta, Maine in 1974. So we see what he's doing here is he's actually going to kill Mouthy Rasmussen, and this is the young man who holds the key to his daughter's heart. And that's what he does, and he's sitting here talking about his son, like his daughter is being relieved of this family curse, this burden to have to feed this beast. It's going to be his son Bram that is made to understand the sacrifices they have to make. And that's kind of what we get here out of this first issue, as we learn that we learn that Vitus kind of through doing this kind of gets this insatiable appetite of his own. And I'm telling you guys, everything that's going on in this book, I don't want to give away the very last of this book. There's still plenty here to be talked about. Guys, I'm telling you, this book is absolutely great. The plot is a phenomenal book. And I've got the first 4 issues right here. Like I said, I already showed you guys these. This stuff is good stuff. My favorite horror comic book of 2019, and probably that I've read so far. This book is excellent. One I would highly suggest you go out and read. What do you think of the plot? Does it sound like something you might be interested in? Something you might want to read? Let's talk about it down in the comments below. Wait, don't leave yet. We've got just a little bit more. I am going to be doing a giveaway of Volume 1 of the plot. Now, to get entered into this contest, this giveaway, all you have to do, well, the first thing is you do have to be a resident of the United States. International shipping charges can be a lot, I'm sure. I won't confess to know about that, but you have to be a United States resident, and all you got to do is be subscribed to the channel and leave a comment down in the comment section letting me know why should you be the one chosen to receive Volume 1 of the plot. That's all I have for this video today, folks. Thank you all so much for tuning in to the Second Street Marvel. If you're not already, please make sure you're subscribing, click the little bell and all of that good stuff if you like this video and you want to see more. If you like it, give it a thumbs up. If you don't like it, feel free to give it a thumbs down. It's all good. I don't look into it that much. You're not gonna hurt my my feelings. But while you're at it, make sure that you share it with a friend and invite them to come hang out with us here on the 2nd Street Marvel, where we love to review and talk about comic books. You all have a very good day, and we'll see you in the next video. Later.